For the past few weeks, we've stepped into the wilderness with Jesus, and in Matthew 4:1, we saw that Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness. This isn't punishment, it's preparation. And last week we learned that fighting sin is not about earning our salvation, it's about responding to it. We don't try to earn God's love, we already have it. This week, we learned something else. Lent is not just about giving things up. It's all about abiding more. In Matthew 6, Jesus tells us to go into our room, to close the door, and to pray to our Father who is unseen. Jesus assumes that we will have a hidden life with God. The most important parts of spiritual growth or any kind of deep relationship often happens where nobody sees. Luke 5:16 says that Jesus often withdrew to lonely places to pray. Often. And time alone with his Father was not weakness, nor was it self-indulgence. It was strength. In John 15, Jesus says that we should remain in him, because apart from him, we can do nothing. He doesn't tell us to try harder. He tells us to stay connected. Just in the same way as a branch can't produce fruit by itself, it needs to stay attached to the vine in order to be and do what it was created to do. And the world tells us to measure success by productivity, yeah? But spiritual formation, it's not something that can be measured on a spreadsheet. Even so, Colossians 4 tells us to devote ourselves to prayer. Devotion means a steady commitment. In Galatians, Paul reminds us not to give up because a harvest, well, that takes time. You can't rush roots. God's goal isn't just it's not our activity. It's our transformation. Hebrews 12:1 tells us to throw off whatever hinders us, and James, it promises in chapter 4 that when we draw near to God, he draws near to us. Jesus says in Matthew 11 that his burden is light, so rest is found not in doing more, it's found in coming closer to him relationally. And so this week the invitation's pretty simple. Why don't we close the door, turn down the noise, sit quietly with God. Maybe that looks like reading a short passage like Psalm 1 or John 15 and ask ourselves, maybe this sounds morbid, but who do I want to be when I die? What kind of person would I like to be when I meet with the Father? And considering that kind of character, let the Spirit shape us into that person. Don't be surprised if that takes your whole life, because it will. John 15:5 promises that if we remain in Christ, we will bear fruit. But before fruit comes faithfulness. Before reaping comes resilience. God tends to do his deepest work in those hidden places that nobody sees and that we can't write down neatly on some kind of spreadsheet. And that's where the real transformation begins. And that's my encouragement for this week. Let's become those people slowly and acknowledge that it's probably going to be a slow and messy transition. Because, let's face it, we're messy people. But God is going to work with us anyway. Thanks all. Have a great week.